it's Jen. Welcome back, or welcome to Bookish Blonde. So today's video for you, I have all of my possibilities for reading for March. So I already put out my middle grade March plans, along with some awesome recommendations for you guys. So this is outside of that, in addition to, I am gonna just get to whatever I can this month. Obviously, I won't be able to get through all these and all the middle grade March unless I quit my day job, but I can't do that. So, okay, let's just get started. So, for Buzzword, on the cover challenge is books. So, I am going to be reading The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. This book was recommended by a few of you in the comments. I forget which video it was, but I mentioned this in a video, and a lot of you were excited, saying that they really like this book. So I'm gonna do that for books on the cover, because clearly there's books on the cover. This one, we're following I think teenage girl that works at a library, and I believe she lives with her grandpa, and she works at the library, and she comes across a book that has a list of book titles in it, some book titles that she's never heard of. So she decides to read all these books that are on this list, and I think through that she maybe coming of age, or maybe learn something new about herself, grows in some way. So I'm hoping to get really good character growth in this one. And then also I think it's her story about how she develops friendships and relationships in the community as a result of reading these books. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but there's that one. Okay, the next one I'm hoping to get to is just because I'm wanting to read this. I got it out from my library. I've checked it out, I think rechecked it out twice, so I need to read it. But this is suggested by Audrey over at Chapters and Converse. This is going to be a really dark thriller, and I'm excited. I read a few chapters of it and was immediately hooked. In this one, we are following Teddy, whose older sister Angie went missing 10 years ago. That case remains unsolved. Teddy's father, Mark, has killed himself, and unknown to Mark's family, he had been active in a Reddit community fixated on Angie, and Teddy can't help but fall down the same rabbit hole. So Teddy is the younger sister. She goes into her own investigation, and we'll kind of take it from there. So all I know is it sounds like that it's dark, it's twisted. You have the amateur sleuth, which I love, a mystery, which I love, and I'm really hoping to give this one 5 stars. Never read anything by Kate Brody before. My setup's a little bit different today. My books are in front of me, so I keep reaching towards the camera. Another one that's on my spring TBR that I never finished. I started reading this October of last year. I'll probably just start over. I got about that far. But this is just one that I'm itching to read, so there's that. We Used to Live Here. This one is a novel who I think like moved into a new house, and they're making it all shiny and new again, and there's a knock at the door, and a family's at the door, and they're saying, "We used to live here. Can we just, for old time's sakes, and reminisce and walk through your house?" And then I think they never leave. So this is a horror thriller as well. Okay, for Buzzwords, word, not on the cover, but Buzzword for March, the word is thing. And I got another one from my library. This is newly released. I believe it just came out, let's see. It just says 2025. So, I think it came out early February, but this is Clever Little Thing by Helena Echlin. I can't remember where I heard about this one, but it sounds super creepy and unsettling. I also have read a chapter of this one, and I decided, yes, this is what I wanted to read for Thing for Buzzword. So Charlotte has a daughter named Stella. She's a very brilliant, smart girl, but there's been a recent change in her behavior, and this is alarming the mother. Blanca, who is their nanny, ends up dying. We now have Charlotte's pregnant with her second child, and Stella starts acting really funny, and I think we're trying to figure out, is Charlotte just crazy, or did Blanca possess Stella? Like, what's going on? The first chapter of this had me hooked, so I'm very excited to get to this one, and this is another book from my library. Okay, one that if I can get started, I don't plan on finishing this in March, but I really need to get started to keep up with Becca's read along, and that is Valor by John Gwynne. This is a chunky book, and I read the first one. It was really slow going, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but there's just lots of names and places and people, and it's epic high fantasy, which I don't read too much of. It has 648 pages. So, but my goal is to at least get this started, get through as much as I can, and start catching up. But this will be one that takes me more than just March. And then for Go With The Flow, we're looking at half the amount of letters from February. February's book was The Survivors, which is 12 letters, so I had to find a book with 6 letters, and I am going to pick up Find Me by Alifair Burke. Actually, another Audrey recommendation, Alifair Burke. I have 3 books on my shelf by her, never read her, and this one is a little on the shorter side. It's about 300 pages or just under, so I thought that would be perfect with how much I'm trying to squeeze in March. And this one, let's see, we have the amnesia trope, which I love. So we have a girl who is in a car accident, and she wakes up and she has no clue who she is. We are following also a defense lawyer named Lindsay, who is Hope's best friend. I'm sorry, Hope is the girl that has amnesia. So Hope and Lindsay are best friends. And I think Hope goes missing. Also, Hope, when she goes missing, there's like blood left at the scene, and the blood DNA goes back to some serial killer known as the Kansas Murderer. And so that's all I want to know. We have long buried secrets, and we have a missing girl. So sounds good. So that's Find Me. And then on my Kindle, I'm going to be reading The Sirens by Amelia Hart. This is coming out in the beginning of April. I think the date got pushed back. I thought it was out in March, but now it's saying April 4th, I believe, or April 2nd, something like that, whatever that Tuesday is. But I got an ARC from NetGalley, so I'm going to be reading that on my Kindle. My mom actually has my Kindle right now. She's borrowing it, trying it out, so I'll have to get that back from her in a few weeks, but at least by mid-March, so I can read through that one. And I'm excited to give you guys my feedback before that comes out for everyone to purchase. So there's that on my Kindle. And then last but not least, if you remember, I set one of my 2025 goals, challenges for myself, was to reread 6 books that I consider all-time favorites, that I absolutely loved and could not stop raving about when I read it. And I want to reread 6 of these books to just see if my opinion has changed. Does it stay true? Because I'd really like to nail down like my top 10 or 15 books of all time. And so this is one way I'm gonna kind of be doing that. So I would like to do a spoiler-filled vlog for you guys. So over on my Instagram channel, I'm going to be posting a poll around the same time this video goes up, and I will put a poll up for 24 hours for you guys to vote on which one of these 2 books you would like to see me do a spoiler vlog for. Both of these are older titles, so chances are if you probably have read them, and if you haven't, that gives you the month of March to read along with me if you want before you hear all my spoilery thoughts. Or you don't have to watch it at all. That's fine. Okay, so the 2 books that I have that are going to go up on my poll are The Secret Life of CeeCee Wilkes by Diane Chamberlain. I read this, 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago. When did this come out? 15 years ago? Something like that. It's been a minute. I don't really remember any of the details, to be honest. I just remember being obsessed with it and loving it. 2006. So, yeah, it's been a minute. Probably, I don't know. I didn't read it, like, I don't think when it Okay, so for the 2 books for that poll, I have Diane Chamberlain's The Secret Life of CeeCee Wilkes. I read this probably 15 years ago. It came out in 2006. This is the first Diane Chamberlain I read, and I loved it. It's still one of my top favorites by her. And so I'm excited to do a reread. It takes place in the 70s, which is fun, and we're following Genevieve Russell. She's pregnant and she disappears. Then we follow the book 20 years later, and her remains are discovered, and a man named Timothy is charged for her murder. But there's no sign of the unborn child. So CeeCee Wilkes knows how Genevieve Russell died because she was there, and she also knows what happened to the missing infant because 2 decades ago she made the devastating choice to raise the baby as her own. So now Timothy is facing the death penalty, and she has another choice to make: tell the truth and destroy her family, or let an innocent man die in order to protect a lifetime of lies. So there's that one, is one choice. And this next one is What She Left Behind by Ellen Marie Wiseman. I have enjoyed everything by Ellen Marie Wiseman I have read, although I want to say this might be my favorite, but again, that's why I need to do a reread. This one came out in, this might have been her debut too, I'm not sure, 2014, it looks like. But yeah, loved it when I read it. So this one has 2 timelines, so dual timelines. We have Izzy Stone, whose mother fatally shot her father while she was asleep. Izzy, now 17, refuses to visit her mom in prison. She has foster parents, and her foster parents are members of a local museum. And they have asked Izzy to help them catalog items at a long shuttered state asylum. So she goes to this asylum to try to clean through some stuff, and she discovers a stack of unopened letters, a decades-old journal, and a window into her own past. The other timeline is an 18-year-old named Clara Cartwright, who, this takes place in 1929. She's caught between her overbearing parents and her love for an Italian immigrant, but her parents have arranged a marriage, so they are furious when she rejects it. And then Clara's father sends her to a home for nervous invalids, whatever that means. But when his fortune is lost in the stock market crash, he can no longer afford her care, and Clara is committed to the public asylum. Again, I don't really remember much, and I'm sure as I read it, it'll come back to me for both of these. But they were both 5 stars when I read them, so this is what's going up there for that poll. So one of these, I will have a spoilery-filled vlog at the end of March for you, or early April, depending on when I can get that out. And that's all I have for you today. So like I said, it's a lot to read through. We'll see. I'm on my 7th book for February when I am filming this. So there's definitely no way I can get through all of these and all middle grade March, but it should be fun trying. So I hope you guys are reading something amazing. Thanks for stopping and watching my video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Happy reading. Bye.